everyone, I'm Mike Gibson, and you're watching the program Capital Ideas Life. More than 13 million people live in the Russian capital, and many have cars. However, in recent years, more and more Muscovites decided not to own cars. This is because the city is actively developing and improving the public transport system, as well as building new roads to help you get to other cities in Russia faster. Today, in our program, I will tell you all about Moscow's transport system and how it works.
In today's episode, how does public transport help improve Moscow's ecology? Why do Muscovites prefer car sharing to get around the city? The M11 toll highway from Moscow to Saint Petersburg.
I can't imagine my life without a car. I've been driving for over 30 years, but in Moscow, I find it's more convenient to use public transport. There are many convenient routes and roads around the Russian capital. For example, at these smart bus stops, you can see when your bus or tram will arrive. 2 years ago, electric buses began to appear in Moscow instead of trolley buses. I will talk about them in our next story.
4 years ago, Russia launched the federal program called the Clean Sky. In Moscow, overhead trolleybus wires and telecommunication cables are being moved into special underground tunnels. At the end of 2019, the number of trolleybuses in Russia's capital decreased by 2/3. Overhead wires were removed on almost all streets in the city centre. Horned trolleybuses have been replaced with e-buses, a mode of public transport that is entirely new for Moscow.
In comparison with other, more conventional types of wheeled vehicles, we believe that e-buses are the next step in transport's evolution. What sets the e-bus apart from its predecessors is that it combines the strongest and best qualities. It is not connected to any contact network. It is eco-friendly and is not as noisy as, for example, a diesel bus.
The eco-friendly and quiet e-bus has a rechargeable battery instead of a diesel engine. It is recharged at compact stations like these ones. The driver needs to drive to a vacant filling space and press the button. The e-bus then connects to the charging station automatically. 10 minutes later, the bus is ready to go again. This charge is sufficient for the bus to reach the final stop, which is about a 30 to 40-minute drive. Drivers of this type of transport say that e-buses are easier to operate and more mobile. The e-bus is also equipped with an onboard computer. This allows drivers to monitor all CCTV cameras. There are 15 interior and exterior cameras, as well as the city map to understand the situation on the road.
I used to work on the trolley bus. On the e-bus, you don't have to watch the wires. You simply drive and drive along any lane that's free. It's very convenient.
Its doors are wide, while the e-bus itself is low to ensure the ease of passengers when getting on and off. This feature accommodates those with reduced mobility. The passenger compartment is large and spacious, with climate control, information media screens, and charging points.
The distinctive features of our e-buses is their unique design. As you can see, each bus has a special sticker. The body of the bus is also unusual. The e-bus's design is in line with the new design renovations of Moscow's public transport. This can be seen in the similarities between the design styles of these new buses and the new carriages of the Moscow metro.
In the course of 2 years, e-buses have traveled over 15 million kilometers along the roads of the Russian capital and carried nearly 40 million passengers. Today, there are 400 e-buses in Moscow. By 2021, the Moscow government plans to stop purchasing conventional buses too. The city's public transport fleet will be solely renewed with the new eco-friendly e-buses.
Another popular form of public transport in Moscow is car sharing. The first cars with minute-by-minute rentals appeared in Moscow in 2013. However, the car sharing industry began to rapidly grow only in 2015, when the Moscow government launched a support program for this type of transport called Moscow Car Sharing. This allowed car sharing customers free parking in the city centre.
Today, car sharing is already an integral part of the transportation infrastructure in Russia's capital. There are over 31,000 shared cars with a permanent rental rate driving along Moscow streets. Every day, tens of thousands of rides are made. In the course of 24 hours, all cars of the Moscow car-sharing pool drive over 1 million kilometers. Nearly every 10th resident of Moscow has at least once taken a car for a short-term rental. That is about 1 million people. There are several reasons why this service is so popular. Overall, it is convenient and cheap. First and foremost, however, this popularity reflects the development of the sharing economy. People are opting for convenient use on a temporary basis instead of the permanent use of purchasing.
You don't have to rack your brains about where to park the car, because, as you know, you can leave the shared car in any place where parking is permitted. You don't need to think about where, when, and how to fill it up. Neither do you have to think whether it is safe or whether it has passed technical inspection. Without a doubt, employees of the car-sharing service will fill up the car, conduct a technical inspection, wash it, and get it ready for the next driver.
Moscow is the capital of the world's car-sharing industry. By the number of cars with a permanent rental, it leaves behind even Beijing. This is despite the city's population being almost twice as big as Moscow's. In comparison, the pool of shared cars in Beijing is no more than 20,000 vehicles.
While launching this project, we were quite pessimistic about the number of shared cars in Moscow. We estimated it to be about 5,000 or 6,000 vehicles. Today, there are already 30,000 shared cars. This mode of transport has become extremely popular. It also allows for significant improvement of the environmental situation in the city by reducing the use of personal vehicles. Incidentally, this form of transport attracts foreign investment too, because the major operators in this sector are foreign companies.
Initially, this service's key objectives in Moscow were to reduce both the number of cars parked on the streets and traffic jams. How can this be done? By making people switch from personal to shared cars.
First, one shared car can replace up to 7 personal cars. Second, car-sharing companies operate on robust IT platforms. We have the digital product and the software to properly distribute the cars across the streets in the city. This allows for car-sharing's effective reduction of traffic congestion in the city.
In Moscow today, it's possible to rent dozens of different types of vehicles, from sports cars to minivans. I've decided to rent an iconic British car. Here is my Mini Cooper for my next trip. This car will take us to our next destination, but first of all, must carefully inspect the car for any damage or scratches. It's in good condition. The documents are good to go. We confirm the car. Need to put our seatbelts on. And off we go.
The government of Moscow actively supports the development of the car-sharing service. Already this year, about 5,000 public cars will appear on the streets of the city.
In Moscow, the road traffic, the urban transport and parking are all monitored here in the center of traffic management. Today, we will visit the main control center. This is where all the city's transport is managed. And not only that.
In order to make driving in the city a more comfortable and safe experience, the Traffic Management Center, the TMC, was set up by the government of Moscow. The TMC Situation Center manages traffic on all the city's roads. It receives data from thousands of digital devices located throughout the city, including radio location detectors, CCTV cameras, and public transport tracking systems.
Behind me is the heart of Moscow traffic circulation, and here are its eyes. On the screen is shown in real time the most important traffic intersections of Moscow.
In the upper left corner of the screen, a special scoreboard shows road congestion levels. The color of the scoreboard changes depending on the number of cars. The length of traffic jams on the main highways in the city is also shown separately. This data, as well as videos from CCTV cameras, are displayed on the monitors of the Situation Center's employees.
Michael, now we are in the shift workers' room. Each district in Moscow is divided into areas. There are 4 people watching the central part of the city, with 4 monitors in each workplace. This helps us a lot with managing traffic lights. Being able to monitor many cameras simultaneously, we get a real-time picture of traffic conditions.
The TMC experts know everything about the situation on the roads in the city. Data comes from 2,500 surveillance cameras and almost 4,000 road traffic detectors. Every intersection in Moscow is visible from several points. If specialists notice an accident or, for example, see that there are more cars going in one direction, they can adjust the traffic lights on their PC. This can redistribute traffic to avoid traffic jams.
First, we choose the area which we are going to monitor. Then we select the surveillance cameras which will enable us to understand the situation. And then we work with the traffic lights. After we have evaluated the intersection's traffic conditions, we decide which direction should be prioritized and which direction should probably be withheld. In fact, there are 2 options. We choose the traffic lights and set the automatic operating mode, increasing the duration of the green light in a certain direction. Alternatively, we can operate the traffic lights manually to regulate the traffic in each direction.
The TMC Situation Center also gets information about road traffic accidents from the 112 service. This service receives phone calls about car crashes. There are digital information screens throughout Moscow where the center provides real-time information to drivers about what is happening on the roads. There are about 200 screens in the city. Also in the morning and in the evening, the center makes radio announcements every half an hour.
As you can see, we don't have many people here, but we keep the whole city under control. This wouldn't have been possible without powerful automatic systems, such as road monitoring systems located throughout the city, radio location detectors, and surveillance cameras that issue traffic tickets and also work as traffic detectors. These devices provide the data on the number of cars moving in a certain direction. On top of this, we receive data from tracking systems for ground passenger transport, taxi, and shared cars. All of these give us a very accurate picture of what is happening on the roads. Consequently, we can take efficient management actions.
How does the Situation Center work?
There's a shift worker here 24/7 to ensure that all necessary measures are undertaken. There are more people working in the daytime during the rush hour and fewer people at night because not much is happening in the city. All of our systems, in one way or another, have a certain level of intelligence. There are many efficient systems at play here. They help to remove routine functions while saving human labor and redirecting it to the truly intellectual tasks, such as dealing with the traffic management strategy.
And how is passenger transport monitored?
This is a very important objective, and so the TMC participates in monitoring passenger transport too. Moreover, we act as an independent appraiser of the performance of carriers in Moscow. For example, payments concerning transportation contracts go through our systems. It is a very important function that ensures that buses in Moscow move in accordance with the terms of the government contract and their timetables.
Over the course of the center's 10-year operation, the number of road traffic crashes with injuries has declined by more than 20%. In 2019, Russia's capital was no longer among top 5 cities with the worst traffic jams, according to the traffic index compiled by TomTom, a navigation service company. Although congestion levels on the roads are still high, there are 7 million cars registered in Moscow. Moving around the city is getting easier and faster every year. The roadmap of the Russian capital consists of hundreds of kilometers of roads that connects Russia's largest metropolis with other cities. For example, Muscovites and certainly foreign tourists often travel from Moscow to St. Petersburg and back.
The first completely overland road between Moscow and St. Petersburg was built 300 years ago. The time to travel back then was about 8 days. Since then, the road surfaces have changed, and with it, the speeds have increased.
Asphalt first appeared on Russia's main road in the 20th century. The road's name has changed many times. On modern maps, it is indicated as M10, but this road, which has connected Russia's two political and cultural centres for many years, has long ceased to cope with traffic. As a result, in 2011, a decision was made to build the M11, a new, safe highway. The M11 highway was fully opened at the end of last year. This is a toll road, and its official name is Neva, after the name of the river that flows through Saint Petersburg. I want to warn you right now that we will not actually go all the way to St. Petersburg today, but we'll follow the route until we find out how everything works here. So let's go. The M11 highway goes via the central and northwest districts of Russia, the Moscow, Tver, Novgorod and Leningrad regions, bypassing cities and villages. The road was laid through forests, quarries and swamps. In some areas, it was necessary to drain the soil and strengthen it with drainage systems in order to divert water. As a result, there are now 669 kilometers of high-tech road with a 3-layer coating.
Of course, we studied the experience of all European countries. Also, we took into consideration the experiences of Asian countries and the USA. But taking into account the local specifics, we adopted the experience of Italy and France mostly, because they are among the leading markets that use the solutions available to us today.
It is the first toll road in Russia built from scratch, as well as the first major investment project in the road construction industry. M11 construction was financed with public funds and by private investors. One of the major foreign partners was Vinci, a French construction company with a highway network spanning more than 3,500 kilometers worldwide.
The total cost of the road's construction is more than 500 billion rubles, with a third of the funds provided by private investors. For example, one of the first public-private partnerships in Russia's transportation industry is the head section of M11, which goes from Solnechnogorsk via the Sheremetyevo airport. It's a classic example of a concession agreement whereby a private investor operates the road and collects the toll fare. We also signed long-term investment agreements and implemented concession solutions for different sections of the road, whereby the state-run company collects the toll fare for using the road.
We have almost reached the beginning of the journey. It's the 21st kilometer of the new road. In front of us is the first toll station.
I've just arrived at the first stop, which is the client service office. Here we'll discover how you can receive discounts for using the toll highway and other questions.
Hello, Mike.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Welcome to our office. Michael, this is our customer service office. Our customers come here to get a transponder, deposit money, and receive information about the road. They ask different questions. There are people who are using this road for the first time. Some people don't know which lane to choose, but most customers come here to buy a transponder.
And what is a transponder? Can you explain that?
A transponder is an electronic device that you attach to the interior of the windshield. It lets you drive faster through the toll plaza and get a discount.
Does this transponder only work on this highway or on all roads in Russia?
This transponder has several issuers. An issuer is a company which manufactures and promotes transponders. Our transponder works on all toll roads. You can take it and drive along this highway, or you can reach Sochi with it. You get discounts by using it.
The toll fare depends on the time of the day and the category of your transport mode. In fact, by mounting the T-Pass inside the car, the driver buys a season ticket and saves about 20% of the amount that he would have to pay without this device.
They're autonomous and powered by a built-in battery, which works for about 7 years. They're mounted here because there are some vehicles with windshields that poorly conduct radio signals. That's why this spot is ideal for the transponder. So you get a transponder and a mounting bracket with adhesive strips. If you have several cars, you can get several mounting brackets. We give them free of charge.
On weekdays, the toll fare for the whole trip between the two Russian capitals is 1,830 Russian rubles for a passenger car. This is payable by cash or card. If you have the T-Pass, the toll fare is 1,350 Russian rubles. But if you want to get to the Sheremetyevo International Airport from Moscow fast and in comfort, you'll have to pay about 400 Russian rubles. Since the new highway was almost built from scratch, the necessary infrastructure was designed alongside the road. For example, there are recreation areas every 20 kilometers along the highway.
So what does a recreational zone look like? Here we can see gazebos where you can relax and have a delicious picnic. Of course, there are toilets. And as we've been told, there's normally a mobile diner, which is perhaps still on its way. The area is huge. There are parking spaces here for 150 cars and 50 lorries. There is exactly the same recreational area on the other side of the road.
According to the road service, this area is large because they're going to build a gas station here in the future. But our fuel tank is still full and we're ready to move on.
I've just arrived at the Safety and Traffic Management Centre, and the staff here say that this place is the heart and the eyes of the M11 highway. We're going to go and find out just why.
The centre specialists monitor the situation on the road in real time, 24/7, via CCTV cameras. They are located every kilometre along the highway. The video is broadcast to special monitors in the control room.
If operators detect an incident, a car crash, a broken down vehicle, or other such emergencies which may be occurring or may have already occurred on the highway, they send an emergency response crew.
There are about 20 emergency response crews working along the 15-kilometre to 58-kilometre section. In case of emergency, the crew will arrive at the scene of an incident in 10 minutes. You can call them by dialing 2011. This service is free for all drivers.
This is the car of our emergency response crew. The screen is on, informing the drivers about an accident and how to bypass it, from the right or from the left side. Also, there are various emergency accessories in our van to help drivers in emergency situations. These are road cones to protect and ensure the safety of the driver, the vehicle, and the passenger. A jack screw, a balloon wrench, jumper cables if a battery has died, a first aid kit, road signs, fire extinguishers, everything you need to help during an emergency.
The new toll road was only fully opened 6 months ago. Today it is mostly used by the drivers for whom speed and safety are more important than saving money. In the course of 24 hours, more than 50,000 vehicles drive through the 15 to 58 kilometre section. However, with all the advantages of the new federal highway Neva, there's still room for improvement. In terms of toll road construction, Moscow and the whole road network in Russia are still at the beginning of the journey. The total length of roads in the country is more than 1 million kilometers, and only 0.3% of them are highways. For example, in the USA, China and France, they account for more than 2%. In order to reach this level, it is necessary to build a further 14,000 kilometers of highways.
Today, we are developing the northwest direction, that is, from Belarus to the east of the Russian Federation, and the north-south direction too, from Saint Petersburg's ports to the Black Sea coast. By 2030, we plan to reach Yekaterinburg, and by 2035, we are going to build segments that will connect the north-south and east-west highways.
We've travelled about 30 kilometres on the M11 toll road and have paid about 400 rubles. I would continue our journey with great pleasure all the way to St. Petersburg, but it's time for us to go back to Moscow. So in Moscow, there are already more than 30,000 car-sharing vehicles, thousands of new comfortable buses and trams, hundreds of public transport routes, including transports at night. The city is developing to make everyday life more comfortable for Muscovites. My name is Mike Gibson, and this is the program Capital Ideas Life. Let's all use public transport. See you in a week.